Future for money! Oh my goodness me, what a goal that is!
I can see the safety car coming into the background. There's one light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights, and it's go, go, go! And straight into the lead.
Touching, but the man that has driven a faultless drive today, he has been stunning. He's got pole, he's led every lap bar one, and Lewis Hamilton is your race winner of the Japanese Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc has come through to second, Sergio Perez takes third, fourth place. Well, this lucky it might go all the way to the wire. And then Gonzalez has got to get the hammer down. And fourth place is Hector Gonzalez's. He takes the trophy. He has been magnificent today, Lewis Hamilton. A fantastic drive. Celebrating with Leclerc, it was excellent. And it is great to see Sergio Perez continue at wonderful form going thirds. But the day very much belongs to the boy from Stevenage.
Why was I not notified of this? What?
Well, you got 2 minutes until the media are ready.
Yeah, okay, I'll be out in a minute. Emma, I need you to run damage control, please. This isn't going to look good. I'll try and keep it as neutral as possible, but if you could find out as much as you can for me and get Rick Scott on the phone ASAP, please. Thank you. Right, we're only limiting this to a few questions, so if we can keep them brief. I'm not in the particularly best of mood, so
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the decision by Nathan McCain back in the mid-season break to sign Hector back to IndyCar?
yes, well, obviously I've only just found out today about it. I'm not happy about it. I'm disappointed. It's very unfair as to what's just happened, but you know, we've got a job to do. We've still got 2 races to go. We're in a shout for the Drivers' Championship, and Hector himself is in with a shout. We've just got to stay focused on the task at hand. We've got 2 more races to go. We can't let outside decisions affect how we go in this race and the next. If we get distracted, then it could ruin our focus. So we're just going to try and focus on this race and the next, and after that I'll probably talk more about what's happened.
How did you find out about this?
Yeah, the guy who broke it to me wasn't actually any of the owners. It was Trevor Walker. I don't know where he got his information from, but he informed me, and obviously I have since investigated further, and yeah, but that kind of stuff is out of my control. You know, the people higher up have made that decision. Obviously the Ravenwest Motorsports racing team is across multiple disciplines and is a global brand, so they've chosen to take Hector back to IndyCar because the team there needs him more than perhaps we do, then I can't really do much about that.
And what about your future as team principal? Are you staying on?
My future is no one's concern, really. I'd rather not be pressed on that matter. That's all I've got time for. Sorry folks, but if you want more details, then you'll have to come to me at the end of the season, because that's where I'll be more free to talking about the scenario. Okay, thanks.
Well, I've got to start, even though I have had a lump in my throat, as the world of Formula One mourns the parting of the great voice of it, in that of Murray Walker. We look forward to having a great Grand Prix this afternoon in Dallas. Of course, the USA was the final Grand Prix that Murray Walker was to do for TV, and it is only fitting that here we have a Grand Prix in which the World Championship is getting tantalisingly close to being settled down right to the core. Here in Austin, Texas, what a Grand Prix circuit we've got. The cultural heart of the southwest of America. Mary will note here in the deep south just what it's about. And from the championship standpoint, Bottas has a 1-point advantage. He couldn't get any closer, but don't discount Hector Gonzalez, who was in with a mathematical shout. However, he has to produce one of the races of his life and win here this afternoon. So this is the roundup of the qualifying performances thus far. So, Lewis Hamilton takes first and Valtteri Bottas comes in second place. Coming in third at the moment is Hector Gonzalez, and fourth is Max Verstappen in the Aston Martin Red Bull Racing. Sebastian Vettel is fifth in the Ferrari ahead of Charles Leclerc, which is sixth, and Alex Albon in the other Red Bull is ahead of Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris is behind Ricciardo. Lance Stroll ahead of Esteban Ocon, and Kimi Raikkonen is up to 13th. Sergio Perez, after his 10-place grid penalty, finds himself down in 16th. Mick Schumacher's up to 17th ahead of Romain Grosjean. Both Williamses of George Russell and Nicholas Latifi, 19th and 20th. And finally on the grid after 2 penalty drops, it's both AlphaTauris, Pierre Gasly and Tony Kvyat, that find themselves right at the very bottom. Well, we're going to be right back with all the action of the Austin, Texas USA Grand Prix, and I'll be right after this. One light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 laps, 5 lights. Go, 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 go! The Grand Prix is underway. It's a fantastic start at the moment. Look at Gonzalez. He's got right through into the very first corner. And it's coming back is Hamilton. Bottas is into the lead. And Lewis Hamilton looks to have gone wide, and Bottas is being challenged by Hector Gonzalez, and Gonzalez looks to have done enough. They're running through the S's. Bottas is also right beside. This is magnificent racing at the moment, side by side, as the championship looks to reach its absolute climax. And here it comes round to the other corner as well. So Hector Gonzalez leads. Valtteri Bottas is second. Max Verstappen, I believe, in the other Red Bull is third. There's 2 Ferraris at the moment trying to outbrake Lewis Hamilton and go through. 1 Ferrari is through. We'll find out who it is just in half a second. Back up again, and there goes the Mercedes as well, sitting side by side alongside the Ravenwest. And now look at that, it's Sebastian Vettel who's also through. So at the moment Lewis Hamilton is down to 5th, and Bottas is challenging and doing everything he can at the moment to fight off Hector Gonzalez, who really is fighting for the championship, and it could be his very last championship. He's been recalled back to IndyCar for next year and won't be racing anymore in Formula One. So if he's got one chance to win the championship, it is this one. And he's already starting to put in a bit of distance now. He's got Bottas, who's sitting right behind. Sebastian Vettel is third in the Ferrari. Max Verstappen fourth in the Red Bull. Hamilton is fifth. So Lewis Hamilton has seen that gap to Bottas, which is down to 1 point. Has absolutely shot backwards. Charles Leclerc is sixth. Daniel Ricciardo has done well to climb all the way up to 7th. Felix Albon, who is down in 8th, and here they go again, and look at that, it could be amazing, and it's just over on the outside, and there is the opportunity coming through as the Ferrari making the move, all the way around the outside. Wow, this is fantastic. There's Sebastian Vettel showing us exactly what he can do, and now Vettel has shot ahead, and is now making his charge at the moment. And if I've said it once, I've said it again, this Grand Prix at times can be absolutely fantastic, and we're seeing that right here. Valtteri Bottas sitting there now. It's Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, who's absolutely flying. He's going to try to make a move, and Vettel, can he outbrake? It's all down to this little charge up to the long hairpin, which they will make their way towards. Has the Ferrari got more power than the Honda? I think that Honda engine has just got a little bit more, a few more horses pounding away in it. But Vettel has the inside line. Can he hold the position? He's going to go really, really tight to Gonzalez. Around this corner, though, was when Gonzalez will have the opportunity, and he is through accordingly. So Hector Gonzalez has survived the challenge of Sebastian Vettel. Valtteri Bottas has been able to gain right up the gearbox, and so far the start is Grand Prix. Oh, it's been pulsating. Absolutely outstanding stuff. We're watching the race really start to take under. The top 10, if you like, are barely separated by no more than a couple of seconds. We're already past the third lap already. Sebastian Vettel with the fastest lap. DRS opens, and for Lewis Hamilton, what a challenge it is for him in 5th to keep his championship hopes alive. Dream a DNF if a race turns to finish. Well, that in itself is going to cause major problems and major heartache for all these drivers. So we're following this race, and we're following at the moment the battle for the championship. And remember, after this, we're off to Interlagos to settle this Formula 1 World Championship. Morgan Gonzalez here is under serious pressure at the moment from Vettel, who's trying to make another move, and he might be able to get him on the switchback as they make their way back up to the DRS point. And with all these cars so close together, DRS at the moment is going to act like a giant train and may pull them all through, all in the same motion. So Vettel, he's going to have his dart, he's going to make the move. Can Gonzalez brake later? He is so close, so close. And wow, look at that. And Gonzalez is using nothing more than his skill to keep himself just ahead of that Ferrari. Is able to then come back round on the inside. There will go, then we'll dart over down onto the right hand side, making their way through. What a race we are seeing between these drivers at the moment. Now Vettel again, look at this, having his moment and making his charge. But look at the train of cars that are sitting behind this. While these two are racing, they're keeping everybody else behind them. And as DRS opens up, well, you don't want to be in the lead, I suppose, at this point, because look at that. Sebastian Vettel is able to get past Hector Gonzalez and make his way through. Well, at least he almost did. Gonzalez has come back. And there shows you all the advantages to leading, and then all the disadvantages to leading in that moment. Austin, Texas. Oh, what a venue that it is chosen to be in. What a Grand Prix circuit that we have got. Designed to bring the best out of these cars. We know there'll be many changes for them for next season. Now, Vettel, does he have enough this time? He's trying to make a move. And Gonzalez again is coming in and doing the business as well. Bottas is sitting right on the gearbox here. DRS is open. This is Valtteri Bottas' moment. He's trying to make a move on Sebastian Vettel. Wow, we're going round the outside. Oh, that's fantastic. And Bottas does it again and manages to get past. And now Valtteri Bottas, the championship leader and his rival, the man that he desperately wants to get himself right past it this afternoon, Hector Gonzalez, who is continuing to be a thorn in the Mercedes romp towards the championship. Well, the US Grand Prix has found its home here in Austin, Texas. Of course, the famous Austin city limits. And Austin, Texas itself has always been a famous sporting city, but very culturally driven here in the United States. So, we're currently on board with Valtteri Bottas. That is Hector Gonzalez ahead of him in the Ravenwest. And indeed, this will be the last season we see Hector Gonzalez, quoting itself that Nathan McCain getting rid of him, saying to himself he doesn't have any ill will. He's helped the team progress massively. We have some great memories to look back on. I know as far as a significant pay rise, he's got a family to look after, so I can understand his decision. When Chris Whiteman, the team principal, was asked, well, he just left. Look at that! Did you see the DRS kicking in? That's a brilliant camera angle. Oh, so close, just side by side. These two really going for this. Well, Valtteri Bottas, in such a close Grand Prix, when they come in for tyres, that could be the key point. The key point here, if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, is he's stuck down in 5th place and has not been able to pass. So with that happening at the moment, Bottas is doing enough to take the advantage through to Interlagos. Gonzalez is doing everything he can at the moment to make sure he's still in that championship challenge and Interlagos. Well, Sao Paulo, Brazil will be when we conclude the championship. Lewis Hamilton now trying to make a move and go around the outside of Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton might be doing it, and he might be getting all the way through. Fantastic! Hamilton's passed Bottas. He's passed 2 cars in one move. Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, he's had to back off. He's had to back off, Lewis Hamilton. I thought for a second he was going to get past 2 cars in one go. He wasn't able to do so. Bottas was able to squeeze Lewis Hamilton out, and he had to put the brakes on. But Lewis Hamilton is now back into the conflict between these three, and he really has got the bit between his teeth. Englishman from Stevenage, 6-time world champion, and he really has been pushed all the way to try and make it number 7. He's got a real task ahead of him, as does at the moment Hector Gonzalez, who's got a rejuvenated Sebastian Vettel, who's going to do everything he can to try and squeeze him out the way. And we're in the drone shot at the moment, hovering over the circuit, and you're seeing these two going side by side, so close and nearly caught one another. And now through the line, is this going to be enough here for Sebastian Vettel to get through? No, it isn't. Gonzalez has got just a little bit too much to himself at the moment, is able to squeeze through and get himself all the way there. But now both Mercedes are behind Sebastian Vettel, and this race really is starting to move into the real interesting points. When they come into pits, well, that's very much where this Grand Prix is going to take off. Lap 7 of 14, we're going to expect cars to start coming into pit from the end of this lap and beyond. All running super softs at the moment. That's the red compound that they're running. And here, this is the challenge for Gonzalez, who has done everything he can to squeeze his way through and into the leads. Next season, Gonzalez will be racing a lot more in America, as the IndyCar does, well, it does travel around the road, primarily based in America. So Gonzalez will get used to this. Don't think he's going to get used to the red car of Sebastian Vettel sitting right behind him, but so far he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. And look at all the fans here on the bank. Absolutely no COVID reason to worry about it here in the world of the CW Virtual Sports Commentary Channel. Formula 1 season, the rise of Ravenwest. And there's the Ravenwest that has risen ahead of everybody else to make their way through, and they're leading the pack at the moment. And sitting right behind Ravenwest drivers, it's Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, Valtteri Bottas third, Lewis Hamilton fourth. It could be pit stops that decides track position, because as much as these cars are right behind one another, as much as they're able to race wheel to wheel, nobody can find anything to get past Gonzalez. And the pit stops have been made at the moment, and in went Sebastian Vettel. I think that was Lewis Hamilton. Indeed it is. There is Lewis Hamilton who's coming in. So let's watch Lewis Hamilton's pit stop. Let's watch the Vettels also. This is going to be a key point in who gets out. Pretty much side by side. Lewis has just done it and also got ahead of Max Verstappen. So Charles Leclerc and Alex Albon have snuck through. And now here is Valtteri Bottas. He has got to find a way at the moment to get past Hector Gonzalez. If he can do so, well, that changes everything for his championship challenge. Gonzalez knows realistically 25, maybe even 26 points is exactly what he needs. So he's got to find the fastest lap also. I did say it looked like this championship could be decided by a point, and it's heading that way. And with DRS open, Valtteri Bottas is doing everything he can to find a way past Gonzalez. He can't though. And now Charles Leclerc is also in this contest between these drivers, so I expect those two to come into pits. It'll be a case from the lap after this one whether we know on track position whether it was a good opportunity. Now, Valtteri Bottas has been racing Gonzalez. He might have lost a second or so in doing that. Lewis Hamilton, who is back out, is not racing Hector Gonzalez. So on that occasion, Lewis Hamilton has a quicker car. Lance Stroll has stayed out, and Lando Norris has set the fastest lap on his in-lap. Goodness me, that is something else. Well, let's have a look. Gonzalez's pit onto intermediate. Green's gone, and he's gone back out ahead of the challengers. So, on your left, we're looking at the Ferraris. And Vettel is side by side, as is a chance in the order. And Hamilton has got into fourth. Bottas is down to sixth. Hamilton has jumped him. Brilliant from the Mercedes mechanics. But what have they done, you may be thinking? There are no team orders. And Hamilton, by having that clear road and not having to race Hector Gonzalez, well, that has done wonders for Lewis Hamilton. Lance Stroll was out and he has yet to pit. And now this is another chance for Sebastian Vettel to try and find a way at the moment to get past Hector Gonzalez. He's not able to do it. Gonzalez here having the race of his life at the moment. Doing some outstanding stuff. Now he goes again. DRS point opened up. Gonzalez hanging on with everything he's got. So effectively on this race, we know Lance Stroll's got to come in. And we're looking at the times. Lewis Hamilton has bumped himself up to third. Valtteri Bottas in that pit has found himself fifth. And this is going to make the challenge for the championship incredibly interesting. As things stand at the moment, Lewis Hamilton would be ahead of Valtteri Bottas for the very first time this season with one race to go. Absolutely outstanding 16 race championship challenge that we are seeing. And with that, we are looking at the track order as they pass the start-finish straight and come all the way through. And Hector Gonzalez leads in his penultimate race in Formula 1 and for the Ravenwest side. Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari is second. Hamilton is up to third in the Mercedes. Max Verstappen is fourth and Bottas is fifth. Charles Leclerc is down in sixth. Both McLarens are in the points. Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris. Daniel Ricciardo, after his great start, making his way up to sixth, finds himself down in 11th. Lance Stroll has rejoined in 9th position. So, will Lewis Hamilton fancy a move and able to make a charge past Sebastian Vettel? Has Vettel got anything to make a move and get past Gonzalez? Or is there a chance for Bottas to show his championship credentials and find a way through? We're all set. We're feeling final few moments of the Grand Prix. They could happen right immediately. Oh, there goes Sebastian Vettel again, making a charge. But can he hold the lead? He can't. It's wonderful driving again, as it's been, and round the outsides. Oh, fantastic. And able to keep going and going and going. This is stunning racing at the moment. Well, I don't think I have seen too close a racing as we're looking at Sebastian Vettel do everything in his power to find the way at the moment. And he's not able to do it. He's not able to get past Gonzalez. Now, this is key. This is Bottas. He's got to get past Max Verstappen, who goes on the inside, goes defensive. Is there any grip left in that Mercedes? Will it find its way through? It'll have a little bit of better drive coming out of the inside of this turn as they make their way through to the left. Pops down, downshift, and there is a chance for Gonzalez at the moment, and Hamilton is doing everything he can, and Gonzalez again is trying to race his way past. This is absolutely fantastic Grand Prix racing that we are seeing at the moment between these two. Lewis Hamilton doing everything he can. He just isn't able to make that killer moment and to find his way past. And through to the outside. So Lewis Hamilton is pushing right behind. A DRS zone is going to open up. It may help, well, Gonzalez get past Sebastian Vettel. Sometimes drivers will do that. Will let drivers pass them so they can use the DRS zone. And it's a case of using mathematics to find it. So lock up there. It looks to be the front left, which is locked up at the moment from Sebastian Vettel, who's doing everything possible to try and find his way through. And who's that? Oh, it's Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly and the AlphaTauri's Honda engine. Well, it's given up the ghost, and sadly he's bowing out of the Grand Prix. Oh, what a shame that was there for Pierre Gasly. Well, back on the helicopter drone footage, and as things stand at the moment, Hamilton would have a 3-point advantage over Valtteri Bottas in the championship. Hector Gonzalez, well, at the moment he'd be 25 points off, so he would need a DNF, but mathematically it may not be the case due to some of the positions finished. However, if Gonzalez got the fastest lap, well, that would change things then. That would mathematically keep him in a shout of winning the World Championship. So, your top 6 as we hit lap 12 of 14. Gonzalez leads from Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton leads his championship rival, Valtteri Bottas. Verstappen is 5th. Leclerc is 6th. Albon is 7th. Carlos Sainz 10th. Lance Stroll is 9th. Lando Norris in the other McLaren is 10th. There are your point scorers at the moment, and the safety car has been brought out because of what happens to Pierre Gasly and the fact they've got to take him out of the Grand Prix safely. So this again, as it always seems to do, is going to make things very, very interesting, because funnily enough it's all going to go down to the wire. Well, the one thing that the safety car has done, while it's going to lose some heat in those tyres and those brakes, it's going to allow these drivers here to conserve some fuel, which means they can put it pretty much in qualifying mode for the final lap. And when they do, well, that changes a lot. Here we got a Ravenwest radio.
Okay, Hector, the safety car is going to be coming in this lap, so if you want to set everything up for going back to racing. I'm sure you're aware of the championship scenario, but obviously we need to keep P1 at all costs. Certainly don't let Hamilton pass you either, because that would be game over for Brazil. But 2 laps, fuel is looking good, so I'll leave it down to you, bud.
Well, the team principal Chris Whiteman once again giving his driver the full autonomy to go for this, but the challenge is clear. Keep Lewis Hamilton ahead of you. If you don't, that's it, you're out of the championship race. And you can see their race control, there will be no DRS, so that is going to make passing even more difficult. And there goes the safety car making its way through. And we really are getting to the tense period of the Grand Prix. So, are you ready for one thrilling lap of Austin, Texas? Right, here we go. The final few moments of the Grand Prix is underway. Hector Gonzalez has it all to do. He's got Sebastian Vettel sitting right behind him, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas also. And it's getting so tense. My word, it's a race that could have been scripted in the Matrix. Well, look at this again now. This is a real tense moment. Lewis Hamilton knows he's going to do everything he can and more to try and get past Sebastian Vettel. These two rivals and champions who dominated the championship in the 2010s. As that new decade rains down at the moment, it's a chance for Vettel, who's looking to try and make his move past. It's all hanging on. There's no DRS. This is pure mechanical drag and engine power. And has the Honda engine done enough on the Ferrari? I'll tell you what, there's nothing in that. There's nothing in that but a cat's whisker. Can Gonzalez bravely hang around the outside? Yes, he can. Round the outside again. Now, does this give Lewis Hamilton just a sniff of a chance to try and find the way past? And it's so close. Look at Gonzalez hanging on with everything he's got. Has Lewis Hamilton been able to do enough to get past Vettel? Hamilton is through. Yes, Hamilton has done it. Hamilton has got past Sebastian Vettel. Now can Valtteri Bottas do that? But for Lewis Hamilton, it's a 6-point advantage in the championship, and he could effectively knock Hector Gonzalez out of it with the final lap of this Grand Prix. If he can get past him, this is going to be so close. And where has Lewis Hamilton done this? A terrible start, found himself down to 5th, great pit strategy, brilliant racing, and then all of a sudden Lewis Hamilton is right up into it for Hector Gonzalez's last season in Formula 1 to stay in the championship. He's got to get past Lewis Hamilton and do everything possible to do that. And Gonzalez is hanging on with every wheel you've got. You've got a 6-time world champion, perhaps, dare I say it, the greatest driver of all time, screaming right down your neck. And a super fast Mercedes which is going everything, but don't discount the chance behind from the Ferrari outside. And Lewis Hamilton trying to make his move. He's trying to go around the inside. They're desperately close, and they're up to what would have been the DRS point. This is the Mercedes engine power. Is there enough to get past the Honda? Valtteri Bottas is using his drive to try and get past Sebastian Vettel, who's doing everything he can do to hang on to 3rd place. Hamilton has snuck through. Has he snuck through around the outside? Has Gonzalez got anything left to come through? Bottas, Gonzalez. Oh, little speedy Gonzalez has found just something extra to make his way through. Hamilton's back down to 2nd. Sebastian Vettel remains 3rd. And we're getting close to this thrilling Grand Prix race. And Lewis Hamilton, can he make one final charge for the line? Round the outside. Wow, wait, look at that from Gonzalez. Lewis Hamilton trying to do everything again to find a way past. We're getting closer and closer. Look at this. And it's Gonzalez again hanging on to his championship dreams. And he's going to come through a straight blast for the line. And Gonzalez wins the Grand Prix.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, mate. Well done. What a drive. That was superb. We might well be outsiders for the championship going into Brazil, but if the Mercs are going to take it off us, then we're going to make them work for it. Well done, mate. I'll see you on the podium. Enjoy the moment.
Wowee, that was fantastic. What a Grand Prix. Hector Gonzalez has held on pretty much the entire race to win and has had to work extremely hard to do that. What a challenge that was. As for everybody in the Ravenwest garage, well, they can be delighted, as at the moment for Hector Gonzalez. Well, what a race that was, and well applauded, good sportsmanship by Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel. Oh no, they were in a real battle. But your winner of the United States Grand Prix and keeping the championship alive is Hector Gonzalez. But more importantly, we've got a new leader in the championship, and it's the Englishman, Lewis Hamilton. Well, I tell you what, that was a bit special, wasn't it? Another thrilling finale in the world of Formula 1 here, and Hector Gonzalez has done everything he could and comes through to win. Hamilton, after his awful start after snatching pole by 0.3 of a second, he races himself back to finish 2nd. Valtteri Bottas might have felt that he let this slip on his hands. One point he was comfortably 2nd, but it just didn't work out. Lewis Hamilton's pit strategy did the best to him also. Lando Norris surprisingly getting the fastest lap and the final point to come in home in 10th. It'll be a disappointing day for Daniel Ricciardo at one point, up to 6th. Great result in the end though for Sebastian Vettel, who raced his socks off, started from 5th to finish 3rd. Great result again for the Ferrari, and good to see Vettel back to action. From the Drivers' Championship standpoint, well, it's a 5-point advantage at the moment for Lewis Hamilton over Valtteri Bottas. Hector Gonzalez remains 24 points behind them. So from that situation from here, he would need both Mercedes to take each other out and him to win the Grand Prix to be in with an absolute shout. But it's going to be desperately close. And we have seen some thrilling finales in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Some people have said this championship is mirroring that of the championship of 2007, in which Lewis Hamilton was denied a rookie win after he had a gearbox failure and Kimi Raikkonen came home to win. The following year was even more dramatic, and I sense the finale to this championship is going to be as dramatic as they come at the moment. Hector Gonzalez will bow out of Formula 1 as making a real impression for his Ravenwest side. We'll find out who his replacement will be in due course, but for tonight, Hector, oh speedy son, we salute you. From the Constructors' standpoint, well, we know Mercedes are Constructors' Championship. So Racing Point versus McLaren is very much the battle you want to watch for 5th at the moment. There's just 10 points separating the both of them. Ravenwest have got themselves into 4th. Red Bull Racing are behind in 3rd. But it is all set at the moment between the top 4 to take those final positions. Congratulations to Mercedes, Constructors' World Champions, yet again for every year since 2014. Well, we have one race to go. Sao Paulo, Interlagos. A Grand Prix which has got many fine memories of some brilliant finales. Well, we could be in for another spectacular one. If you enjoyed this Grand Prix, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to leave your comment below. Who do you think produced the best performance in this Grand Prix? Was it Hector Gonzalez's stunning defensive driving? Was it Lewis Hamilton's brilliant tactics and him making his way up the grid? Heck, was it even a fantastic performance by Sebastian Vettel in a far less superior Ferrari to do what he did? Either way, folks, we've got one race left and it's going right to the wire. From all of us, good night.